วัสดีครับ Welcome to NBT World's The Fireside. I'm Benjamin Ruchopagan.
And I'm Om Supanida Janmoon. Every week we have a fireside chat exploring what's going on in Thailand, diving deep into our latest obsessions.
So in a previous episode, we were talking about the rise of Thailand's digital economy. And obviously that involves to a large degree e-commerce and social media.
Yeah, right.
But the more and more that we were talking about it, we were talking about what are the characteristics of the Thai market, how much time we spend online. That's when I was starting to feel like this is a bit concerning.
Yeah, and that episode made me like to observe myself as well, what's good and what's too much.
Yeah. So just to recap for our viewers and listeners, Thai people spend 8 hours a day online, and actually local sources put the figure even higher, like the average is 11 hours online. And almost 70% of Thai users 16 and above buy something every single week. So we have a real, I'll just go ahead and say it, we have a real social media and e-commerce addiction, you know. So I want to explore some aspects of how social media has influenced and shifted Thai culture, especially among Gen Z.
Yeah.
The reason why I want to talk about Gen Z in particular is because, you know, they grew up around it, every generation that comes around, they get the same complaints from the older generation, right? They always say, oh, you're lazy, you're unmotivated, you know. In Thai, you might say like ไม่สู้งาน or something like that.
เด็กสมัยนี้
Yeah, they always say, oh, these kids these days. Just so we're all on the same page, people define Gen Z as different things. McKinsey & Company says that Gen Z is born from 1996 to 2010. And because of their access to social media, it makes them the first global generation where culturally they've begun to homogenize, and everybody in youth culture, they share an online consciousness through social media.
Yeah, they grow up with that. They grow up with all the contents, the diversity of the content, and they get inspired to be a creator as well. So you can see majority of Gen Z, I think, have an idea, have a concept in mind what to share.
Yeah. Maybe you think that, that doesn't really apply to Thailand, but in this Ipsos survey, 63% of Thai Gen Z feel they're more a citizen of the world than a citizen of their country, which I think that's kind of a beautiful sentiment, actually. I think it's very interesting that they have the consciousness of a global citizen.
Yeah, exactly. So the global generation, as you mentioned earlier, also comes with a slight shift in Thailand lifestyles, even though Zoomers have many of the same concerns as older generation. You can see twice as likely to spend more time interacting with friends online rather than in person, and more worried about climate change, environmental problems or stuff, with 80% are willing to pay more to purchase eco-friendly products. And also, they are more cautious about spending money by researching products first, looking for deals, and also prioritizing their savings.
Yeah, during the pandemic, they were forced to adopt a lot of new normal practices as well, like social distancing, remote learning, and remote work. And you can kind of see this in the way that they choose their careers. They have a lot of... Especially in Thailand, Gen Z don't have as much company loyalty. They like to job hop a little bit more. I know some people in recruitment that feel like Gen Z is a headache to recruit with. And they prioritize flexible work arrangements. In my opinion, I really like that there is a generation of people that feel like companies have to come to them. Companies should try to recruit them. They need people, so make the case for them to stay with that company. And a lot of Gen Z, they understand that you can probably get a better salary, like a better increases in salary if you job hop every 2 years. It's not even considered job hopping. It's just good for their career to keep changing companies every 2 years. Whereas I think in previous generations, we try to think a little bit more about, well, it's about job security and, staying with the same company for a long time, so the attitude towards companies have changed definitely in this generation.
Are you saying that both sides, both the company and Gen Y, have to understand each other more, try to understand the reason to make them come to this?
I think they have to understand that, the priorities are different. I think that if we Gen Y spent most of our lives with the work expectation that we have to show up to the office at the same time every day, and the pandemic was just a weird aberration, a weird period in our lives that is now over. But Gen Z, many of them were entering the workforce or were studying at the time of the pandemic. So that is the norm. The norm is work from home, remote work. And if you could get all your work done from home, why suddenly do we have to now come into the office? So the expectation is totally different for them.
Yeah.
But so if you force a generation of teenagers and young adults to stay home and operate online every day for 2 years, maybe 3 years straight, what's going to happen, right?
Of course, it's going to impact the mental health. So a report from the National Economic and Social Development Council, or NESDC, found that 53% of Thai Gen Z report negative mental health effects, and 58% feel pressured by online comparison. And also 44% find it's very difficult to reduce their social media use. Meanwhile, 2023 literature review by Mahidol University concluded that every 30 minutes spent on social media was linked to a higher risk of depression.
I don't know that this kind of effect is totally exclusive to Gen Z. I think that I struggle to stop doom scrolling. I struggle to stop, staying online, late at night. And, I'm just in Thai, you say kia tolosap, just for hours, right?
Sometimes I of self-awareness too when doing that.
Yeah. I feel and also I can sense that the algorithm is slowly shifting my opinion about certain topics, the more, I have some anxiety about staying in shape and trying to eat healthy and things like that. So I follow a lot of different fitness influencers. But what I'm starting to notice is that before, every fitness influencer would say, no, I'm natty, I'm natural, I don't use steroids, right? And they're trying to promote that, no, you can have this body too if you, just follow my regimen, eat my supplements, buy my products or whatever, use my exercises, follow me, follow my community. So that was what used to happen a lot. And that can promote unhealthy sort of, fitness or body expectations and standards, especially if they were using steroids, right? But now I'm starting to also see that more and more fitness influencers are admitting it too. They're owning it. And they're saying, yeah, I'm on a cycle of gear. I take this, that, and this drugs. It's for body competition, bodybuilding competitions. And I can feel the shift in the acceptance of steroid use.
I think this influenced the commercial, the products out there as well. When I go to, for example, convenience stores, I mainly see the lotion for whitening only.
Yeah.
For me, I'm personally allergic to the vitamin C or the fruit acid, but I cannot find a sunscreen without it. And I cannot find a lotion without it, especially sunscreen. Actually, that was the problem that I just experienced. So I think this kind of mindset, the beauty standard that is raising up because of the online content, it have a huge impact on the stores, on the commercial out there. So yeah, that's problem that I experienced earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are problems of unrealistic body standards and expectations for men and women. You know, whitening creams, dubious steroid use.
Yeah.
And then there's also like some trends where they're kind of legitimizing the concept even of pretty privilege. I know it exists, but there's this trend of like face card never declines. And it's the idea that like this person is so gorgeous that, you know, their face is like a credit card. It never runs out of credit because, and they, you know, it's meant to be a lighthearted way to compliment that person. But I also feel like it kind of instills the idea that, yeah, pretty people, you know, have certain privileges that you don't and things like that. And somehow that's right. You know?
Yeah, it's quite obvious though. Yeah, but I think everyone should be happy with themselves and should appreciate their shape, their skin, and everything, that beauty, because everyone is beautiful and look good as they are.
Yeah. The next dimension that I want to talk about is the way that social media, and in particularly short form videos, affect cognitive control. And what I mean by that is like brain function and executive control. So have you ever heard of the term brain rot?
I think I know that term, but can you give me more like the definition about it so I can compare what I know?
Sure. That's also what I say when I don't know the answer. That's also like every time.
I knew it, but can you tell me the definition first?
So in 2024, the Oxford University Press chose brain rot as the word of the year, and they defined it as, quote, the supposed deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state, especially viewed as the result of overconsumption of material, now particularly online content, considered to be trivial or unchallenging, end quote. So for me, the quintessential brain rot content is where they have like two content running at the same time. They have like, maybe it's a podcast, it's a conversation, an excerpt, and then the other half of the content is some satisfying reel where they're like, I don't know, cutting soap, or it's some satisfying manufacturing process or something to keep your attention going. And that is pure brain rot. That is perfectly like just meant to like make you to like pay attention to this, but sort of passively at the same time.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I don't see it's much in Thailand.
My algorithm is like red pill kind of podcast, and then the other half is like Minecraft.
Cutting soap.
Yeah, that's exactly
yeah,
what's going on.
My algorithm is just only cats videos.
Yeah, right. I wish I had your algorithm. Dr. Zach Turner, who is an Australian medical practitioner specializing in preventive health and wellness, he said, the result is reduced attention spans, impaired memory, and difficulty focusing, a phenomenon sometimes nicknamed digital dementia. So you don't even have to wait to be like 70 or 80 to have dementia. You can have digital dementia right now. Short form videos about 30 to 60 seconds long can impact your ability to stay on task. I definitely had a problem writing this episode and staying on task, drafting the script, and exercise executive control over your attention. So a 2023 study published in the academic journal Frontiers in Psychology found that among university students, short-form video addiction can cause more academic procrastination. You know, if you have a task ahead of you, you know it's going to take a few hours, you would rather just doom scroll, right? And what's interesting in this study is that the more bored you get, like the more easily bored you get, and they called it boredom prone, the less you're going to be impacted by social media addiction. So, you know, people who get bored easily don't doom scroll as much, basically.
So what's the factor for each other? You get bored first and then you scroll, or you scroll too much and make you bored?
I think the academic procrastination, like seeing a difficult task ahead of you, not wanting to tackle it makes you procrastinate. But then if you get bored easily, you tend not to procrastinate by short video addiction, because even that gets boring eventually. I think if you're easily entertained, you're somebody that suffers from social media addiction a bit too much. That's me. I'm easily entertained.
Yeah. Many times I find myself doom scrolling a lot. And I try to minimize it as much as possible. I'm working on it right now. What about you?
I have to stick to a strict like sleeping regime or something. Like I have to have a routine where, okay, I put on something that I know is long form and I try to sleep to it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep scrolling. As soon as I open up YouTube Shorts or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, that's it. I'm going to lose 2 hours right there.
So why is all sound negative?
Yeah, it does seem like it's all negative and maybe we should all just quit social media. But like we mentioned in the last episode, there are a lot of opportunities online, economic opportunities and job opportunities for, businesses to scale their operations. And so it's something that we just can't ignore. It's part of our society, And there's also this other aspect of it that shows that there's a very nuanced relationship with social media that is both good and bad. And it's this concept of social skills versus emotional intelligence. There was a 2024 study by researchers from Nakhon Thammarat Ratchapat University and Silpakorn University talking about the relationship between digital connectivity, which is how much you use your phone to text and talk to other people and post on social media, versus your social skills and your emotional intelligence. And within the study, they're defining social skills as your communication skills, your problem-solving skills, and your ability to work in teams. And then emotional intelligence is your capacity for self-regulation, your self-control, your situational understanding of what's going on around you, and failure management. When you have a setback, how do you react, right? So within the study, they found that digital connectivity actually had a strong positive connection to social skills. So the more digitally connected somebody was, and this is a study of undergraduate students, the better their social skills were. But conversely, it had a strong negative connection to emotional intelligence. Even though emotional intelligence and social skills are closely related as well. Like if you have better emotional intelligence, you tend to have better social skills, right? So what this tells us is that there is a point to having good digital connectivity. There is a point to being digitally savvy, especially because of where the business opportunities are. So what the study calls for, what the researchers of the paper said, was that there needs to be a balance between digital connectivity and face-to-face interactions.
Yeah, that's very interesting topic to do for the research, and very up to date because it's 2024 and they focus on the digital interaction and stuff. I think it's very interesting. How would you rate yourself?
Digital
for
connectivity.
The digital connectivity, social skills, and emotional intelligence.
Okay, digital connectivity, I'd put myself at like a 2 to a 3, because I don't really, like in my personal life, I don't really like posting. I'd say social skills, I think I'm a decent problem solver. I like solving problems actually, but I don't work well in groups. I don't work well in teams. And emotionally, intelligence, if I had to say, I would be like, so for social skills, I'd probably be like a 3. And then emotional intelligence, I'd be somewhere between a 3 and a 2 and a 3, basically, because I feel like when I get mad like it just goes. Like I in Thai you say like siasati or something. Like I can't hide when I'm upset, basically. But otherwise I feel like I have a decent understanding of the people around me. What about yourself?
For me, I think social skills is kind of like 3 or 4. I think you rate yourself very humbly. You're
That's
so
nice.
humble rating yourself that kind of low. I don't think that's that low. So social skill 3. Yeah, because I have to like stuck and I will be frozen first and think about what should I do when I solve the problem. When I face the problem, I would be like silent.
Right.
Although people like ask to like say it. What's the problem? I would.
Right.
Okay, I have to figure it out first. What's the problem? Then I try to find the solution. So for emotional intelligence, I don't know because I know myself as a people pleaser. So maybe it's like 4 or 5 because I have to control myself. I'm good at controlling myself.
I for sure thought you were gonna just be like 555. Just like
Although I'm so stressed.
I think that there's a lot to be said for the balance, you know, like you want a little bit of both. I don't like if I had a kid, I wouldn't want that kid to not know how to use social media, like grow up and just not know how the digital world works and, you know, not be a digital native. But I also wouldn't want them to be maladjusted and subject to cyberbullying and have mental health problems. And also there are in-person activities that I find online. Like there's the Read Me Again book club. There's the Sabai run club. So there are like common interest groups that I would have only ever discovered through social media.
Yeah. It's good to see people connecting online and then go meeting offline to do something together.
Yes, exactly.
So sometimes online community can lead to the offline or the person with person interaction.
Yeah.
So this leads us to our next discussion. What are the roles of government and tech company in shaping social media's future? So in general, Thailand is focused on tackling cybercrime and online fraud, as well as improving digital skill and digital literacy. We have heard about it all the time in Thailand through policies. I think we can all agree that these are the top priorities for creating the safer online space or online community for everyone, including children. So that still leaves the problem of social media's impact as well on public health and child development. So you might have heard that some country against TikTok try to eliminate the role of TikTok, the power of TikTok. But actually in Thailand, they collaborate with TikTok.
Yeah.
And the Ministry of Public Health partnered with TikTok, the Sati app, and health-focused content creators on the Mindful Makers project, Mindful Makers. Mindful Makers aims to promote and provide evidence-based mental health content to help people, promoting their well-being and emotional resilience, especially in this era, digital era, digital media, that people focus on the media content, short-form videos.
Sometimes I need like a reel to tell me, hey, get off the app. Like every now and then I'll scroll and I'll see like a reel that says, hey, you should stop doom scrolling.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God somebody stopped me.
Did you stop after that?
No, but it's nice to get like a reminder.
Yeah.
So Thailand has also, I thought this was kind of interesting. They've funded the development of a high school mental health action checklist. So this checklist is meant to be a screening tool for schools to use and for teachers to be able to talk about mental health issues with their students and provide a way to monitor students for mental health issues. And so students who show signs of depression or social media linked anxiety are referred for counseling and in very severe cases, even hospitalization as well. And for the worst mental health crises, if you're really struggling, there's also the Helper of Psychiatric Emergency or HOPE Task Force. And this is a collaboration between the Department of Mental Health, the Royal Thai Police, and influencers as well to identify online expressions of suicidal thoughts and behaviors and report them to the mental health hotline at 1323. So if you sort of a PSA here. If you're struggling with mental health and suicidal ideas, you can go to this hotline 1323.
And that was the effort in Thailand. For other countries, they have an effort for tackling the social media as well, like Australia. The lawmakers passed a minimum age requirement of 16 years old to use social media platform. And Norway proposed raising the age limit to 15 years old to protect children from the power of algorithm. And in France, minors under 15 years old must have parental consent to create social media accounts. In China, they explored a range of regulations like social media. They have their own version of themselves. For example, TikTok, they have Douyin instead, and they just control and scope the content to be only in that country, from that country. And also gaming for children under 18 is banned during nighttime hours and limited to no more than 1 hour a day on weekdays and 2 hours a day on weekends. Yeah. So, and now we turn it over to our audience. Have you ever struggled with doomscrolling? Do you think children shouldn't be allowed to use social media?
Let us know in the comment section of NBT World's online channels. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.